In Afghanistan, the Taliban have retaken Kabul after 20 years. I'm Catherine. This is News Review from BBC Learning English, and today joining me is Roy. Hello, Roy.
Hello, Catherine, and hello, everyone. If you would like to take a quiz on the vocabulary around this story, head to our website, bbclearningenglish.com, to take a quiz. Now, let's hear more about this story from this BBC News report.
The Taliban's seizure of Kabul comes 20 years after they were ejected from the city by a US-led offensive. President Ashraf Ghani fled to Uzbekistan, saying he relinquished control to avoid bloodshed. The insurgents have urged calm, but Kabul is in chaos, with many ordinary residents desperate to leave, fearing a bloody assault.
The Taliban have retaken the Afghan capital of Kabul 20 years after they were removed. The president has left the country and people are trying to evacuate.
Thank you, Roy. And you've been looking at the headlines around this story. You have 3 words and expressions for us today, don't you? What are they?
We have brace, engulfs, and sweep.
Brace, engulfs, and sweep. So, your first headline, please.
Yes, my first headline comes from the UK, from the Financial Times, and it reads, Afghans brace for Taliban rule after militants take control of Kabul.
Brace, prepare for something difficult. Now, Roy, what can you tell us about brace?
Right, okay, so this word is spelt B-R-A-C-E. Now, Catherine, when you heard about the UK having a third lockdown, how did you feel?
Well, I thought, here we go again, another lockdown. Oh, it's going to be difficult. I'm going to have to get myself mentally prepared. So I had a little talk with myself. I brought some extra chocolates and sort of nice jogging trousers, and I got ready to stay at home. So I got myself mentally, I made myself feel really strong and decided I'm going to power through this lockdown. So I had to really strengthen myself mentally.
Exactly. So you braced yourself mentally. You prepared yourself for an unpleasant or difficult situation. And notice there as well, I say brace yourself. We commonly use it with words like brace myself, brace himself, brace themselves, to talk about preparing for that negative situation.
So is it only about mental preparation? It's just about kind of your own self and feelings?
No. It can also be used about bracing yourself for bracing your body. For example, if you go on a plane, they quite commonly read those instructions where they say, in the event of an accident, please, you put your hands behind your head, I think, and you brace yourself for impact or brace for impact.
Okay. And what about, is it only for people? Can you brace things?
Yeah. It's a little bit different. For example, if you have a weakened wall in your house, maybe you're having some renovations and you notice that a wall is weak or some posts in the garden. Maybe you want to brace that. You want to support that. So we use maybe a piece of wood or metal to reinforce the structure, to support it and brace it.
Okay. And what about braces on people's teeth? I've heard them using that expression.
Yeah, slightly different. It's those metal things that we put on our teeth, and it's used to support and correct their positions.
Thank you. Let's get a summary of that, please. So, talking about difficult situations that we need to brace for, we have a programme about the climate emergency, don't we, Roy? Where can we find that?
All you need to do is click the link beneath.
And your second headline, please.
Yes, my second headline comes from Reuters, and it reads, Afghanistan is peaceful, Taliban say. Chaos engulfs airport.
Engulfs. Affects powerfully, overwhelms.
Yes, so engulfs is spelled E-N-G-U-L-F-S. And it basically means that a place or a person has been almost overwhelmed by a negative situation. So in the state of the headline, in the case of the headline, it's saying that chaos has engulfed the airport, which means there's people running around, shouting, nobody knows what's happening, no one knows who's in charge, and there's a lot of panic.
And it's happening everywhere, isn't it? It's not in like little parts of the airport. The idea of engulfs means it's absolutely everywhere.
All over the airport. And if a person, it's quite commonly we use it in the passive as well. He was engulfed, or they were engulfed, or the area was engulfed.
And do we say, what prepositions are we using then with the passive?
We commonly use it with in or by. So you can be engulfed by an emotion, or you can be engulfed in something.
So that's interesting. You're now talking about emotions rather than actions. The airport example was about kind of the physical situation, but you can also be engulfed in or by an emotion, you're saying?
Yeah, you can be engulfed by fear. So, for example, if something is too overwhelmingly frightening, you can be just engulfed by fear.
So that would mean, you can't move, you can't talk to anybody, you're completely panicked, you can't think properly.
Absolutely.
Because the fear is so strong and it's really taking over your entire person.
Absolutely. But it's not the only case that we use engulf. There is another meaning of engulf, which has this same idea of being surrounded or covered by something negative. For example, a building could be engulfed in flames when it is completely on fire, or an area or a country could be engulfed by a snowstorm.
We've just been talking about Greece, isn't it? Large parts of Greece are engulfed in wildfires right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Let's get a summary. Yes, and talking of places being engulfed in flames, we did cover the Notre Dame story when Notre Dame Cathedral in France was engulfed in flames. Roy, where can we find the video for that?
All you need to do is click the link below.
And now let's have a look at our next headline.
Our next headline comes from Associated Press News, and it reads: Taliban sweep into Afghan capital after government collapses.
Sweep, move powerfully and quickly.
Yes, so this word is spelled S-W-E-E-P. Now, when you clean your house, Catherine, I think this word is quite commonly used when talking about cleaning. How do you clean your house?
Well, what I usually do is use a vacuum cleaner, but for the purposes of this program, I'm going to tell you that I get a small hand brush and I get down onto the floor and I move that brush slowly and very carefully around the floor, and I gather every tiny little piece of dust and dirt from the floor. So I sweep my floor with a brush. Perfect.
Now, obviously in the headline, we're not talking about cleaning an airport or cleaning an area. But in this sense, it is a similar idea with that big movement. And we usually talk about sweep when a group of people are moving into an area, covering everything. And
yeah, it's covering. They're not missing anything, are they?
No.
They're getting absolutely everything, and nothing escapes a sweep, does it?
Absolutely. And also, for example, it's not just about a group of people. Maybe a government sweeps into power, which is a similar idea with talking about the Taliban here. They are sweeping into power.
And that kind of means with, nothing can stop them, isn't it? It's the idea that it's complete, this takeover of power.
It's a large, quick and powerful movement. Another way that we can use sweep is actually for a trend or something like this. For example, a new fashion style that everybody starts doing. We can actually say it sweeps the nation.
Strong collocation there, isn't it? That phrase, to sweep the nation. We use that a lot, don't we, in British English?
We do. Sweep, to say that everybody's doing it, or it's very, very popular.
Thank you very much, and let's see a summary. Now, Roy, can you recap today's vocabulary?
Of course. We had brace, prepare for something difficult, engulfs, affects powerfully, overwhelms. And we had sweep, move powerfully and quickly.
Thank you, Roy. Now, don't forget that you can test yourself on the vocabulary for today's show on our website, bbclearningenglish.com. We are also all over social media. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.